As legacy gets passed on, what's get passed on is wonderful music that raises morale of the Stone Age people. However, the ending seems to imply that Ashiguro Gen and Senku are gonna do something that will be questionable. Given to the fact that Senku has yet to do anything that is questionable, I have a very hard time believing he would do that. But it may very well be that way. Because was some who brought up a good point. If Senku really does revive a lot of the different people, there's no telling that not all of them will probably follow him. Whatever happened if he revived a religious figure? Yes, this is the Doctor Stone chapter 60. As thanks to Senku's brilliant inventions, this record player can be played because it's revealed that Bakugo forged it with his other astronaut friends. But it was his idea. He used a glass from a glass bottle, and that since glass is sturdier than plastic, although I have a very hard time believing that. I mean, plastic doesn't rot away, but it's if it properly functioned, it could do it for 10,000 of years. So they took what was left of their Minecraft, including a razor and a wedding ring since from another couple since they didn't need it, and created that record player. None that record. So thanks to the devices that Senku has created, they play it up, and indeed the voices from the voice is indeed Bie Bakugo, the adopted father of Senku, who reveals he knows that Senku is on the other side. Of course, by this time he's already passed away, but this is a recorded message a long time ago. As he begins to pull if I will always be with you, he immediately changes his mind because, well, he knows Senku is not that kind of person. Instead, he passes on something completely new. What is he passing on? A song that is sung by that beautiful singer that got on the ship thanks to, money. That apparently also married Byakuga and had children with him. As her song is spread throughout the record, all of the Stone Age people cannot but help but be melted away by the voice of an angel. The Lillian was very famous in the modern world, so of course Ashiguro Gen has a very different reaction. However, the Stone Age people, including Ruri, who imagine Lillian singing right in front of her, get melted away by the song. She was once worried that the songs she had learned and all of the things more would be lost in history, but Byakuga was very clear that they wouldn't. In a way, this this is how they pass on the different songs played by the people to be a great morale. As Senku reminds them all that he knew that there was a world of games, movies, manga, and everything more. He will show it all to them as soon as they defeat Tsukasa and free other people. With moral a bit higher, and the people now a little bit more interested in wanting to depetrify the other people. Suddenly, Ashiguro Gen says something strange to Senku, something like, "The villagers have been dragged into this fight." In other words, doesn't that mean that Senku-chan's weakness has disappeared? So what do I mean the weakness? As many of the other people think that they should listen to Lillian's voice because then it will probably change their morale. But the modern people knew all about Lillian and her songs, and the fact that this is not a very high quality, unlike the others, it won't have that huge effect. But then Ashiguro again says this sound quality and suddenly gets a thought. During the evening when he realizes that Kinro and Kyoko have gone to bed, he alone approaches Senku and begins to talk about saying something like, talk about something. And Senku seems to already know what he was going to talk about, because he didn't want to talk about this to the prehistoric people. It was that they needed a record and 2 cell phones. And if this will defeat Tsukasa without bloodshed, then they will save 7 billion people. And then save the 7 billion people. But if it doesn't, and God is watching them, Shigami Senku and Ashiguro Gen will happily fall into hell together. As the two of them suddenly shows a very sinister face, Senku says, "Relax, man. If it's God you're talking about, he's been absent from the world of science since the very dawn of time. Listen well, mentalist. A sinister design from across the centuries. What is Ashiguro Gen and Senku now planning? I mean, Ashiguro Gen has always pulled these little malevolent motions. I thought he was gonna be malevolent when Senku went out to rocks. What is he talking about now? The fact that he is actually talking about God suddenly. Is it possible that he's talking about emotionally manipulate the Ishigami people? Again, Senku doesn't seem like the kind of person who would emotionally manipulate anyone, even though he is a little bit of a jerk. So, but he did say this sound quality. They are gonna do something that Ashiguro again thinks that if they fail, they will fall into hell. Is he talking about that if they do not stop Tsukasa, both of them will be killed. Therefore, they will end up in hell for having infused all this modern technology into the otherwise normal society that was pretty primitive right now. Is that what he means when falling into hell? If they fail all this, then everything they have taught the people will be in vain. I have no idea. Either way, something is happening, and it's probably gonna be a little bit creepy. But songs is now passed down from the generations, and that is a very pleasant moment indeed. The fact that Ruri actually was so moved by that makes me actually question if she's going to sing. But how will the songs get revived? Senku doesn't exactly seem to be a musician. Who knows? What kind of sinister design is happening, and what is Senku's new plan? No idea, but you give me your thoughts if you have any.